Happy New Year. As we turn the calendar to 2023, we want to thank you, our loyal WagerTalk Sports Memo and Gold Chief family. Thank you not only for your business, but for your feedback, suggestions, and criticisms, as it has helped us grow to become the #1 sports betting information company and leader of the sports betting videos and content, with WagerTalk TV now having over 110,000 subscribers. To welcome in 2023 and to thank all of you for your support, we want to give you 23% more on any All Sports All Access pass of 30 days and longer. Buy a 30-day All Sports All Access pass and get 7 days free, a $99 value. Buy a 90-day and get 22 free days. Buy a full year and get 84 free days, which basically takes you through March Madness of 2024. No coupon is needed, and the added free days will automatically appear. Just head to your favorite handicappers page and you will find these specials loaded. This special offer is only available until midnight on January 9th, the night of the College Football National Championship. For myself and everyone at the WagerTalk Media family, Happy New Year.
Hey guys, welcome in and a very happy, what is today? I don't even know. Thursday it is. That's right, Thursday. Welcome in. It is the college basketball tip-off show powered by WagerTalk.com. And we've got a loaded slate of games here today on this January the 5th. We're going to do our best to break down a few of these games for you, see if we can come up with a couple of best bets. And we're going to do it, of course, with three of the best here as we welcome back in Tony Finn in the house with his brother from a different mother, Tony Mahia, and Bryan Leonard trying to keep the peace among all of us here. Everyone needs a good ref there, even-keeled. Bryan Leonard is here for us. Guys, welcome in. Happy Thursday. Tony Finn, talk to me here. Limited card in the association tonight, but do you have anything rolling on the hard court, college or NBA?
I took a little bit of a wrist slap. Yeah, let's just call it what it is. I took a spanking last night, and I did win an NBA game. But my college, who I'd been on a nice 6-0 run, I lost one by a half point. One of those nights where everything was close. You're winning all three, and all of a sudden you're losing all three. One of those nights. So I stepped back a little bit today just to do some more diligence. But I'm the short list there. I need to limit it. I'm depending on the best in the business, you guys, to lean me a little harder or push me one way or another off a cliff and into the right side of the canyon. But we'll be locked and ready to go here right after this beautiful and wonderful, informative program.
All I heard was throw you off a cliff, and quite honestly, that's all I needed to hear. Talk to me, Tony Mahia. What is going on, brother man? Plenty of hardwood action here tonight. What's available for us over at WagerTalk.com?
Well, available right now is the free play that I'm going to give out on the show on my page, wt.buzz/TM. Package-wise, nothing yet. I also did not do well last night. I did hit my 4% play with the Grizzlies, and I had the first half too. So that was great in the saving grace, because lost a half-point game with Duke, NC State not going over. No points in the final minute, and Duke being an abomination and on offense with their sets. John Shire has a lot of work to do. They'll be fine against Boston College this weekend, but next time they play a pretty good team, I think I'm going to be on the other side of the Blue Devils. Those things that I saw yesterday don't get fixed overnight. And beyond that, the Miamis destroyed me yesterday. Miami Hurricanes. Wong, normally one of the better guards in this country, really struggled at Georgia Tech, so they lost outright. Tip your hat off to the Yellow Jackets because they hadn't been playing well, made big shots down the stretch. And then the Miami Heat lose to the LeBron James and Anthony Davis Lakers. Good Lord. We'll talk about that more on the NBA show. But, looking forward to recovering tonight. Big college basketball card, and I've already done my research on all 4 NBA games. So hopefully a bounce back night.
Yeah, the Heat have been dead to me for about 2 months now, and good reason. No reason to fall back in love with them again now after last night. Brian Leonard, talk to us here, man. Nice hockey slate tonight, along with college basketball and NBA. Anything tickle your fancy up at WagerTalk.com?
Yeah, I ended up doing okay yesterday. Split the hockey, split the college basketball, won Memphis very easily in the NBA, and we had the Charlotte team total under on the NBA show yesterday, so that worked out pretty well. Yeah, I've got 3 hockey plays up right now on a 15-4 hockey run.
Ooh.
I also have 4 college basketball plays, and last year we heated up around conference time, and I could feel that coming on again. I really like this card tonight. I put up, you could get our full slate for everything today, or you could get just the hockey or just the college basketball at discounted prices. So I put all that up for you today, and hopefully we can get you some winners on this show.
That's what it's all about, guys. Just visit all 3 of these gentlemen at WagerTalk.com. Take advantage of those all-access passes. Plus, right now, for that limited time, you hop on those 30-day, 90-day, 1-year all-access passes. You get a whole lot of stuff for free there. So take advantage now, WagerTalk.com, while we take advantage of a Big Ten matchup here tonight between Purdue and the Ohio State Buckeyes. -1.5 Ohio State home court here. 139.5 as the total. And, of course, Purdue is not among the undefeated anymore. Lost for that first time against Rutgers in what was a great game. But boy, oh boy, tough place to go play on the road here, Brian Leonard. Ohio State, you know the area. Talk to me. Are you a believer there's a bounce back in Purdue, or is Ohio State for you?
Yeah, you mentioned Purdue coming off their first loss of the season, losing 65-64 to Rutgers. And anytime I'm on the show, I like to talk about the shot quality numbers. And the shot quality numbers said Purdue should have won, 69-55. In fact, they had a 90% chance of winning that game, but they lost. And it happens. You don't shoot well, the other team does, and that's the variance you're going to find in basketball, especially when you have teams shooting 3-pointers. So even though Purdue lost, this is still a team that we're looking to play on any chance we get. They're number 1 rated in the country for a reason. Shot quality's got them number 1 offensively, number 3 defensively. So they're a very good, well-rounded team. Buckeyes just beat Northwestern, and they were lucky to do so. If you take a look at the shot quality numbers, they only had a 36% chance to win that game. So Ohio State had a good shooting day. Northwestern did not. And so we get a combination here. If you got one team coming off a game it should have won and didn't, and another team that was lucky to win and shouldn't have won. So that would put us looking at Purdue. And when you take a look at what Ohio State does, if you're looking for the regression analysis, let's just go defensively for Ohio State on the season. Shot quality, you're saying the opposition finishing at the rim should be at 54%. It's only been 52, so there'll be a little bit there. But the two major ones here, 3-point shooting. On the season, Ohio State's only allowing 27% for 3-point range. But if you take the team, the players, the way they normally shoot at 32%. So that's a big differential of 5% this far into the season. The post-up's the same way. Ohio State's holding the opposition to 35%, and based on the opposing shooters, they should be at 42%. So we're really looking for Purdue to have a good offensive game here against Ohio State. The line is short, and you've got the best team in the country off of an embarrassing loss. I'll take Purdue.
All right, we got to vote for Purdue in this one. Chris Altman, one of the better coaches here. We talk about that every year. He's got a nice mix of vets and some new faces there offensively. Quietly, they've been pretty good there. Do you think they have enough defensively to keep Edey and the boys off the boards and to be able to score more than Purdue tonight at home?
I do. I'll cast a vote for the Buckeyes and make my older brother Tony Finn the deciding vote here later. But I think Ohio State's going to win this game. So I would back them on the money line as opposed to laying the point. I'm worried about Purdue bouncing back off a loss on the road because their backcourt is very young. Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, both freshmen, and they haven't played well on the road. I mean, it's a limited sample size, but they won at Florida State. Whoop-de-doo. Especially the way the Noles were playing at the beginning of the season. That game was on November 30th. And then at Nebraska, the Huskers took them to overtime. You know that, a little bit of improvement under Fred Hoiberg, but Nebraska's nothing to write home about. They'll be lucky to make the NIT if they do that. Probably will finish near the bottom of the Big Ten. But this Purdue team now goes on the road, coming off a loss, a little bit of adversity, and they do have Zach Edey, which is a load to deal with inside. But Ohio State's coming off what Holtman called their best defensive game in 2 years. Northwestern missed 24 of their first 27 shots, finished with a 28.4% shooting percentage. And Northwestern's pretty good this year. I thought they would regress a little bit, losing their front court players, but they've actually been pretty solid on both ends of the floor. So, and Ohio State, their leading scorer comes off the bench. He's an Orlando kid from not far from here, Bryce Sensabaugh, 6'6", 235-pounder, who's got pro scouts buzzing. He wasn't really a top 20 recruit. He was more in the top 50 range. But I saw somebody make the comparison that last year Malachi Branham, nobody saw him as anything truly special. He ended up having a big year and is now with the San Antonio Spurs as the first round pick. So Sensabaugh might be a one and done. They've got guys like Likely and Justice Suing, Zed Key. You got to swarm Edey inside. Hope for him to get in foul trouble because it's hard to match up with a 7'4" kid who gets you second chances. But I would not be surprised if Ohio State wins in Columbus and Purdue leaves on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah, McNeil can hit from distance too. So they got some shooters here for sure. So now it is up to Tony Mejia's much older brother, I believe he said. Tony Finn, much older brother, almost criminally older. Talk to us here, Tony Finn. Tiebreaker now. We've got one vote for Purdue, one for Ohio State. What say you, man?
I say you must have heard about the lawsuit that I filed against my parents for not telling me I was adopted years ago. But let's talk about Purdue and Ohio State, should we? I had Rutgers was a big play for me. A bunch of it had to do with the fact that I think Purdue, the way their coach Painter coached this team, he's pretty predictable. Covering a number like that they were supposed to cover last week. Earlier against Rutgers, I thought was too big, and in fact, I sprinkled a little money on the money line, and profited that way. In this game, the size against a lot of the pundits will call Ohio State small ball team, sturdy, physical, yet not very long. I'd classify more in the middle range. I don't think that's small, but and they make up for what they don't have in length, in girth, and in strength and being physical. Much of this game is going to come down to two things. Ohio State does a really good job of being sneaky, offensive rebounds, second chance points, as Brian might have mentioned there when he was talking about. I couldn't get past the older brother thing, but the personnel. Key is a guy that what Rutgers did was they got Eddie in foul trouble. Ohio State's going to attempt to do this with Key. I'm not quite certain they're going to be as successful doing that. But Ohio State does a great job down in the paint, bumping the big guys from the other teams off balance a little bit, sneaking, tapping rebounds, offensive rebounds, throwing it out for a three-pointer. And as Brian mentioned, Sensabaugh, not only Sensabaugh, but his older brother. These two are killing it. Bruce Thornton, they're killing it from three-point. Both of them combined to shoot over 40%. This is at Ohio State. This is, I think, Big Ten country is always been the case, at least in my orbit. Difficult to win on the road in the Big Ten, no matter who you're playing, no matter good, bad people say you are, or pundits say you are. Give me Ohio State. Give me the home team here in a game that probably enlightens the college basketball nation that Purdue is susceptible to not only length, but susceptible to teams that are physical as well, which is a little bit of a an aberration, I think, for Painter. I like the Bucks tonight.
All right. Well, it looks like they kept it in the family. 2 Tonys, 1 Ohio State, but we do have one Purdue rather. But we do have another big game coming up here in the Big Ten. How about this one, guys? As Maryland taking on that aforementioned Rutgers team we just talked about with that big win there against Purdue. Now they're at the rack. I actually don't know if it's still called the rack, but for our purposes on this show, it's going to be called the rack, damn it. Rutgers 5.5, I believe, is the number now with that total 131. And Bryan, let me ask you, because I just watched Maryland again in that last game get off to a very slow start. They did it again with Michigan. It's almost as if maybe this is a thing for this team. Rutgers at home, phenomenal. Maybe it's we split this game into halves, first half, or maybe even total for that matter. How are you approaching it?
Speaking of racks, I'm glad my wife wasn't walking past the office when Tony's talking about length and girth on that previous video. She's already questioning my internet usage already, so I'm just glad that we got around to talking basketball in that regard. I may be one of the minority here, but you've got a Maryland team who's played on the road twice this year. They lost last time out to Michigan, 81-46. Their post-game winning percentages were 27 and 42. So when you look at them, and you talked about Rutgers, how well they've been playing at home this year, you would think, man, that's a cheap line looking to play on Rutgers. But I just think these two teams are closer in talent than what they've shown so far. Maryland knows they've gotten crushed in their 2 games on the road in Big Ten play. I expect them to come out and get a good start, which you mentioned that they haven't done thus far. Rutgers, we just talked about the opposite side. Rutgers is the team that just pulled off that 65-64 upset of Purdue. And as I mentioned, if Purdue had a 90% chance of winning, Rutgers only had a 10% chance of winning. When you take a look at the shot quality numbers, let's look at what Rutgers has done at home. And they played a lot of home games thus far. They played 2 quality teams at home. They played Seton Hall in Indiana. These are the rest of the teams they played at home. Coppin State, Bucknell, Wake Forest. Wake Forest, not a bad team. And they also played Central Connecticut, Rider, UMass Lowell, Sacred Heart, and Columbia. So they put up some pretty impressive numbers at home, but really they've played pretty easy schedule at home. So I will take the shot here with the team that I have closer in power ratings than what this line is suggesting. And you're getting them very motivated after losing by 35 points last time they went on the road. So give me Maryland, and maybe Rutgers has a little bit of a letdown off that big win.
All right. Good stuff there. Mahia, feels like I'm getting 2 teams where the defensive side of the ball is much better than their offense. Are we looking total here? Are you looking side? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we could be, because I think if you're Rutgers, especially at home, you want to buckle down and you want to get the ball inside. And they've got Eugene Omarui, their big man, looking to duplicate what Hunter Dickinson was able to do against Reese and the smaller Terp squad. And you don't want to get the Maryland guards going. I just don't trust this Maryland team, because I've seen bits and pieces of their awful play against UCLA, where they were a no-show and they were expected to be right there after a really strong game against Tennessee, and the aforementioned Michigan game that they just lost 81-46. So the fact that Kevin Willard is just getting there, I like him as a coach, a hell of a coach, but this is a new team for him. So, maybe it's one of those instances where they've got to go through this adversity to reach their potential in February and March. They certainly are senior laden. Jameer Young, a solid guard, and Hakeem Hart has been there for a while. So it's a team that I think will be better probably than Rutgers in March. But right now on the road, I'm going to go with the Scarlet Knights. Paul Mulcahy, one of the better glue guys in all of college basketball, comes off a 16-8, 6 assists, 4 steal game to beat Purdue. I think he'll continue to play well. I mean, that guy was an X factor when they had Ron Harper Jr. there, and he was really the key to Rutgers taking that next step. And now he's playing well with a heightened role. Spencer, who hit the game-winning three, is a solid shooter. I think it's a game that comes down to the wire, and I trust Rutgers right now to make winning plays more than I do Maryland.
Yeah, look at that, Tony Finn. Here you go again.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where are you going to lie here in between this other Big Ten matchup? Is it Rutgers at home? Is it Maryland on the road? What you going to do here?
Without the the machinery and the technology, I'm going to lie at the beginning of this assessment, in the middle of this assessment, and I'm going to lie at the end of this assessment. Maryland just got annihilated as a 1-point road dog. Well, I shouldn't say just, but middle of December, right? What was the score on that? 81-20 or 81-46, something like that to Michigan. But they did beat St. Peter's. They beat UMBC in home games. Kevin Willard's got a lot of work to do, and it's okay. It's all right. It really is. I'm telling you what, now, Rutgers was getting a little bad rap. They still do get a little bad rap, but they're better at home, right? They're better at home. That was one of the reasons we're getting 8-9 points last weekend against Purdue. However, listen, as was mentioned here, losing to UCLA, who's at top 5 team net rating, is one thing. To be absolutely blown away, embarrassed by a good but nothing special Michigan team, who's like just under 180, between 80 and 100 in net rankings, and that's a Michigan team that just lost to Central Michigan at home. There's problems with this Maryland team. There's problems with Maryland. They're going to be really good sometimes. They're going to be really bad. The one thing I like about Rutgers is you know what you're getting here. Coach P has done a really good job with this team. They're almost the same every time they hit the floor. They're going to be who they are tomorrow, the same as they were yesterday. And that applies to probably in March, if not a little bit better. Always tough to beat a team that's not susceptible to letdowns per se, because they're just consistent. They do nothing really, really well, and they do nothing really, really poorly, right? Rutgers at home against a Maryland team that's inconsistent. The only way I can be in this room and on the side will be with the home team, the Scarlet Knights.
All right, Scarlet Knights, it is here, guys. We do have one more game here that we want to break down for you. It's going to be out west. Going to be a little late night degenerate special here, 11 o'clock East Coast time, 11 p.m., and it's the Zags taking on the Dons of San Francisco. 9.5 for the Zags here tonight. The total, 156.5. And to say this has been a one-sided rivalry, Brian Leonard, I'm probably not doing it. It's been an ass-whooping and forever. The Zags have no problem taking out their frustrations on San Francisco each and every year. They also seem to have kicked it into another gear offensively. It's been a rough stretch here for San Francisco. Are you willing to bet Gonzaga can win by double digits, Brian?
Well, I won't be on San Francisco. If you take a look at their regular 6-2 at home, but the shot quality numbers say they should only be 4-4. The last 5 games, post-game win percentages surpassed like 43% just once, and they won 2 out of those 5 games. So they're not playing well, and the numbers are showing why they're not playing well. I'm not sure I want to bet Gonzaga here, and I know Gonzaga dominates this series. They've dominated this conference, but I'm not so sure this is the same Gonzaga team that we have seen in the recent past. They've only played 1 true road game all season, and that was a 19-point loss at Texas. So let's take a look at their neutral site games. They played 6 neutral site games, and the post-game winning percentages in those games, despite winning 4 of those 6, were 26, 82, 9, 45, 46, and 61. So Gonzaga is a better team. Obviously, that's telling you that. Gonzaga has dominated this series, but this is the one year I think a lot of these teams in this conference will be a good bet on against Gonzaga, because I just don't think Gonzaga is not as good this year as they've been in the past. Problem is, I'm not sure San Francisco is in the shape right now to do that. We got all excited when they played Vegas and beat Vegas in Vegas. Now all of a sudden, that 10-0 start to the season from Vegas does not look nearly as strong as they've really looked bad as of late when they stepped up in class. So Don't want San Francisco, but just don't think I can get there with Gonzaga.
All right. I mean, what have you seen here, Tony? I mean, it feels like the Zags have started maybe offensively a little slower than we have seen, obviously, in years past. It's not like they're not capable of dropping, all sorts of points on any team at any given moment, given their pace. But the Dons, we saw what they could do to Arizona State when they're on fire from the perimeter. So maybe the total is the way to go here. I don't know which way you're looking at it.
I think the total is the way to go because we talked about San Francisco, Santa Clara just before the new year as a barometer game here in the West Coast Conference as to who is most capable of challenging Gonzaga, at the top of the league and being there with St. Mary's as well, which always seems to be here as a pesky bunch under Randy Bennett. And Santa Clara won that game at home decisively. And then last time out at home, San Francisco loses 80-68. Don's actually played Gonzaga pretty tough last year, but they had Jamari Bouye, who has since moved on. I think he's in the G League now. So Khalil Shabazz is still there, and he's been joined by Tyrell Roberts, the Washington State transfer, who can really shoot the ball. And if he shoots well in this game, I think they can hang around. But you mentioned, and Brian mentioned too, and I'm in agreement with him, that this Gonzaga team, I think, is not as good as we've seen in the past, and certainly not as good defensively, losing Chet Holmgren, who was able to erase a lot of issues at the basket with his length and his size. But the Zags have fixed some issues on the offensive end. They've won 7 straight since that loss to Baylor in South Dakota, and they have scored 85 or more in 5 straight wins. So they come off the 111-88 win against Pepperdine. They beat Montana 85-75. They were right there in the racetrack game with Alabama that you knew would be one of those contests. 100-90 ended up being the final there on a neutral site. So you got Drew Timme inside, best footwork in all of college basketball, and you've got the guards around him that are starting to figure things out and make shots. So only way I can go here, because I don't want to embarrass myself taking the points with San Francisco and then have them no-show, given their current form, is to hope that they at least hit some shots, maybe go for the back door late and get me that over. It might end up being a client play, but certainly I think the way Gonzaga is shooting the ball right now, you like their chances of that. The one caveat, though, that might keep me off it is that this is their second true road game. And their first true road game was at Texas. Texas, obviously, a much different defensive team than they'll face in the Dons, but they lost that game 93-74. So statement game for Gonzaga, especially with Santa Clara and BYU coming up. Santa Clara this weekend and BYU next week. 3-game stretch on the road. We'll find out about Mark Few's team over the next 10 days.
Yep, no, we certainly will. It's, it's kind of hard, and it's shocked here, Tony. I almost feel like if this was this time last year before, we'd be looking at double digits here in this spot. But
Yes.
the market is, come back down to reality a little bit here on this Zags team. Do you think this is the moment where they say, okay, don't doubt us, and they blow them out here by double digits?
San Fran, the Dons team is really difficult to wrap your arms around if you're living in my head. It's difficult to do it on its own. That said, this is a team that last time I played them, I played on them, and that was against Arizona State.
Ooh.
Because I think Arizona State's vastly overvalued. This is a team that's they're not smooth, they're not clean, they're reckless. They don't value the possession of the ball. And San Fran didn't just win that game. It's 97-60 over a top 75 KenPom unit, right? The losses, though, Santa Clara's not a horrible loss, although I think Santa Clara's overvalued. But the loss to San Diego, this last loss, San Diego, 80-68 against the Toros is atrocious. So, fortunately, I looked real hard at that, and somehow stepped aside and didn't get on it. But Arizona, or Gonzaga is consistent. The 3 losses for Gonzaga: Texas, Purdue, Baylor. That's their 3 losses. And if anyone who's listening to this, watching this on WagerTalk TV, and you 3, if you watched TCU and Baylor last night, you have to feel for these Big 12 kids because every single game, every night is a absolute it's torturous. If you're not, there's just no way that the winner of the Big 12 is going to lose 6 games in conference play. I'm convinced of that simply because it's just a hellaciously difficult league to conquer, especially on the road, right? Here we go. I think Gonzaga is going to join the Big 12. I like Gonzaga tonight against the Dons, mostly because of what they can do in the paint against this San Francisco team. They don't have to shoot threes. They don't have to do that. They don't have to struggle from the 3 line. Give me Gonzaga, I think, in a relatively easy pick.
All right, he's a believer. It looks like the Zags for Tony Finn, and a lot of different games here tonight. Conference games across the country. Some really interesting ones in the mid majors as well, and we'll see if these guys have maybe a favorite play of the night that they're going to use as their best bet on the show. And a quick reminder, guys, if you head over to WagerTalk.com, all of their best bets available right now on their pages. Just visit Brian Leonard, visit Tony Finn, and Tony Mejia, guys. They are ready to roll here. Plenty of action on the hardwood tonight. Plenty of football coming up this weekend. NHL, Brian Leonard all over the ice plays, guys. So make it a profitable week 1 here in 2023. Visit all 3 at Wager Talk today. And Brian, kick us off here. Which game on the card tonight do you like a little bit more than the rest?
We talked about a few games, and we never came to an agreement on any of them. I guess that's probably a good thing, because normally when we all 3 agree, it looks pretty bad. So maybe everybody will have a winning day. I'm going to go back to that Maryland game. I know the other 2 guys prefer the other side, but I'll be brief since I went into it earlier. But we've got a Maryland team who was just crushed by Michigan on the road by 35 points. They've been beaten by both teams. They played on the road, beaten badly. Post-game winning percentages of 27 and 42%. You know they're focused going into this game. I'm not so sure with Rutgers. Rutgers has had all that success at home, and they just knocked off Purdue in a game that they really shouldn't have when you take a look at the numbers. So Rutgers comes in fat and sassy, as our friend Marco would say. Maryland comes in determined. I'll take the points with Maryland here.
All right. He's doubling down. Give him Maryland here tonight to get it done. How about you, Mejia? Which game are you looking at on the card tonight?
All right. Well, let's talk a little WACtion.
Ooh.
And the WAC is most definitely not back. It's a weird conference. We've got teams in Texas and out in Washington and in Utah, in California. One of the teams that I'm going to talk about today is Cal Baptist. So this is not your grandfather's WAC that was a force in college basketball, 20, 30 years ago. But it's a league that's got some new teams, and 2 of them are Utah Tech and Cal Baptist. Utah Tech, formerly Dixie State, and they're still there, I believe, in their 3rd year of being a full D1, so they can't compete for the NCAA tournament. I think Cal Baptist is already there, and Utah Tech is still playing some non-D1s, so take their 5-6 game winning streak that they just had snapped at Utah Valley with a grain of salt, because 3 of those teams are schools you've never heard of. But they have played Arizona, they have played Washington, and they've got other common opponents with Cal Baptist in Washington. Cal Baptist beat the Huskies. Utah Tech lost. And Cal State Northridge and Weber State, who they both beat. So, I mean, there's some talent here, but I think Cal Baptist is slumping. Let me just look at this. 336 out of 363 teams from the free throw line, and they only score 66 points per game. That's 308th. So while Utah Tech operates at a faster pace, I still think Cal Baptist is a little further along at the moment. And being that this is an early conference game, I think Cal Baptist controls the pace early. Utah Tech really relies on getting to the free throw line to get their points. So maybe in the second half, that's a look there, maybe a second half over, first half under. But my play is on the first half under. I don't think we get to 64 points between these 2 in a tight first half. Give me the under in Cal Baptist and Utah Tech.
All right, Utah Tech, Cal Baptist going deep on the card here tonight. We're going to look at a first half under And Tony, Finn, what did you rustle up for us here on for our best bet?
Well, I gave it away on the last. I accidentally mentioned Arizona. For some reason, I was drifting off a little bit there. I like the Arizona Wildcats tonight.
Ooh, what a number this is.
Let's go. Let's label this what it is. Yeah, let's label it what it is. It's a bailout blowout, and you're going to have to lay the wood on Arizona. However, Arizona, there's a lot. If you guys, we all spend a lot of time doing our due diligence on teams and what their strengths, weaknesses, liabilities, deficiencies might be. Arizona doesn't have a lot. If they're going to be deficient or they're going to be have a liability, it's probably going to be on the stop side of the court. However, they've been really pretty good. They really have. They were only a 5.5-point favorite over Arizona State, which I thought was thievery in their last game. They win by 9, 69-60 in a low score. That's a low. Listen, ASU did everything they could. They played this perfectly and still lost by almost double digits. Arizona shot 38% from the field, 38-1, 5 for 22 from the 3 line. Essentially had about the same amount of turnovers as assists in that game and still won. And Tubelis scored 21 points, got 9 rebounds for them to win that game. The best win, a tough Utah team in Utah, defeated the Utes. The Huskies, they defend the three-point line well, but this interior, this long, lean Arizona team will destroy Washington in the paint. Washington 1-5 against the spread. They covered 5 straight road meetings against these Wildcats. That ends tonight. Arizona wins by 25 plus. Woo! Take the Wildcats in an easy wire-to-wire win. Late night, degenerate special, bailout blowout.
Love it, the bailout blowout. And did you hear that, Brian? He's talking about laying wood again. Thank goodness your wife's not home. Unbelievable. All right, guys, our friends over at the Gold Sheet, they have a play of the day as well, and we certainly encourage you guys to visit thegoldsheet.com. Great write-ups on these games, great analytical tools, the data guys. It's all about being a smarter investor. And go grab that knowledge. Check out goldsheet.com because they're going to go right down the road from me here in, I believe, Boca Raton tonight. FAU, Florida Atlantic, taking on UAB, a little Conference USA, at least what's left of it. And it looks like they're going to be leaning towards the FAU Owls here. Why? Well, pretty much because they have covered the spread now in 10 straight games. They've been a cash cow. UAB has only played one defense in Ken Palm's top 50, and they did lose that game by double digits. And FAU has now won 5 of the last 7 in this series. So our friends at the Gold Sheet say, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're backing the Owls tonight to get it done. All right, guys, TCU and Baylor last night went over, and boy, didn't have to worry about that one yesterday, so that was good. But tonight, screw the Power Fives. I'm going to go, how about America East? Can we go there and pull out a game that involves UMass Lowell and Maine, and getting double digits with Maine, and I'm taking every one of those points. And I'm going to take a page out of Brian Leonard's shot quality data. They are 13-2, people. Shot quality data tells us, oh, hell no, they're 7-6 at best. They have played the 360th easiest schedule in the country right now. In the meantime, Maine, they've had a couple of 1-point losses. They probably should have won. They had tough road games against Akron as well as Ohio State. Oh, hell no, this should not be double digits here. I'm going to take Maine and the 11 tonight to get it done. Shout out to shot quality there, Brian. All right, one more time. Let's recap it. Here it is. As we've got Tony Finn, he's laying wood tonight. I mean, he's busy laying it right now here, trying to save his pool. Arizona -18 over Washington. Mejia, well, he's going to go Utah Tech, Dixie State, whatever the hell you want to call them. And Cal Baptist, he's not expecting a ton of points, guys, in the first half here. Under 64.5, while Brian Leonard is putting his foot down. Give him Maryland here and the points taking on Rutgers tonight. I'm going to take those 11 points with Maine against UMass Lowell, and our friends from the Gold Sheet, they're going to lay the 2 with FAU, Florida Atlantic, at home tonight. taking on UAB. And if you head over to WagerTalk.com, you can visit Tony Mejia, Tony Finn, and Brian Leonard. Their best bets are ready to roll here tonight, guys, across all of the sports betting landscape. Visit them now. Hop on board with those all-access packages, 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, 90-day, a full-year package. And, oh, yeah, right now you're getting a tremendous amount of free plays right now if you sign up with them on their page. So head over to WagerTalk.com. Let's make it a very profitable Thursday here in this first week of 2023. Loaded card in college hoops coming up this weekend. Tomorrow we'll be back here. Of course, we invite you to come back and join us. Until then, on behalf of the Tony brothers with different mothers, Tony Finn, the much older brother, Tony Mejia, and of course, Brian Leonard, guys. Thank goodness his wife wasn't here for this. Best of luck with all the plays tonight, guys. Come back and join us again tomorrow. We'll see you then. Good luck.
Happy New Year. As we turn the calendar to 2023, we want to thank you, our loyal WagerTalk Sports Memo and Gold Sheet family. Thank you not only for your business, but for your feedback, suggestions, and criticisms, as it has helped us grow to become the #1 sports betting information company and leader of the sports betting videos and content, with WagerTalk TV now having over 110,000 subscribers. To welcome in 2023 and to thank all of you for your support, we want to give you 23% more on any All Sports All Access pass of 30 days and longer. Buy a 30-day All Sports All Access pass and get 7 days free, a $99 value. Buy a 90-day and get 22 free days. Buy a full year and get 84 free days, which basically takes you through March Madness of 2024. No coupon is needed, and the added free days will automatically appear. Just head to your favorite handicappers page and you will find these specials loaded. This special offer is only available until midnight on January 9th, the night of the College Football National Championship. For myself and everyone at the WagerTalk Media family, Happy New Year.